Sometimes you gotta play the game to win the game. We don't have the absence of the disadvantages, y'all. We don't have that. Even with building my company, even with all of the accolades that I already have, I was recently named one of the most influential people in the world as a global icon by the United Nations with Colin Kaepernick, Mandela's son, Princess Megan, and Black Panther. And thank you. But even with that, I get told that I need to put my credentials in the front of my presentations because as I'm talking and presenting my company, people can't understand how this little girl could have possibly done these things that she's saying. How could you, a little girl from 21st and Bennett, possibly reverse engineer the Fair Isaac credit reporting system to invent the only mobile credit game in the world and invent music in it and disrupt the music industry at the same time? How could you have possibly done that? And your family never went to college. Who are you? So I'm gonna sit here and keep thinking about who are you and how you have possibly done this and just not write you a check. Because it's too hard for me to fathom this. So we don't have the privilege of walking in and letting people assume my intelligence. And how did I even, watch me on time, y'all, because God is with me right now. How I even came about this was because I was speaking at Capitol Hill and I was with an Asian gentleman who had a company. And out of nowhere, he just says to me, Angel, I can't imagine how hard it is being a Black woman running a company. I was like, what you talking about, Willis? And he was like, as an Asian gentleman, when I first started my company, people started just writing me checks because they assumed I was gonna be successful. I was like, for real? He was like, yes, I have so much money I don't know what to do with. I don't even know what I'm doing with the company. I can't sleep at night because I have all of these people's money and I really just want to shut it down and I don't even know what to do with it. I've started to just slide in my account information. And he said, and you're one of the smartest people I've ever met, but every door you walk in, it's closed. You have to butcher it down. There's a hand in your face telling you to stop and go away, and you have to disprove every single person that you encounter. And I had never even realized it. I was so used to being Black and just fighting, I didn't even realize it. I really didn't until somebody from another race pointed it out. And then I thought it was just harder because I was an entrepreneur and I didn't know what I was doing. But I actually really knew what I was doing and I was just being discriminated against. But I didn't even know. And then it became even more of a light bulb to me in recent times where I've been to Italy twice this past year, and when I have to explain to them why I don't have the level of funding of other people, they literally don't even understand what I'm talking about in certain aspects. For instance, we looked up that the average amount of funding in America for a basic startup, like one that doesn't even have a product yet, is $1.14 million. There has only been 26 Black women. It's just an article as recent as Vanity Fair this month. You could get it off the shelves right now. There's only been 26 Black women in the past 6 years to raise over $1 million. That's 0.02% of funding, and we're rounding up. So how is the average for a napkin 1.1, but a successful Black woman that has a credit app, that has invented electricity and a soccer ball, that created a colorblind application, that created a crowdfunding platform for student loans, all type of really amazing inventions. But we can't raise money. And we collectively didn't realize it was discrimination until 2 years ago when we all got together in one room and we all had the exact same story. And we was like, hold up. So you trying to tell me you met with the same person and he said the same thing to you and this, that, and the third? Like what? And that was the birth of Black Tech Matters. because we realized that we weren't connected to each other as much as we needed to be, as well as we weren't receiving support, not only from Silicon Valley, we didn't even have BET and Essence there. I'm in Essence this month though, shout out to Essence, y'all caught up. But that's exposure. And remember, exposure is 60% of the game. So if you don't have exposure in Silicon Valley or in the media or in different things like that, to be able to promote your company, I went up to a Fast Company party and they would not let me in, and I'm the next Steve Jobs by Forbes magazine. But I couldn't get into a Fast Company party. And they looked at me like, little girl, you got 5 seconds before we call security. I'm so serious, this actually happened. I wish I had it on film. And so there was another situation where I was a keynote speaker, and I ain't even gonna say the event, but I was a keynote speaker, and there was a car sharing company that wasn't Lyft. And, you know, I went up because I was trying to find out about internship opportunities because I'm the director of innovation at Hampton University, the #1 HBCU in the country. And she basically, you know, just looked at me like I was crazy and dismissed me. And her job was to inform people about the company for recruitment. And half the time, people think I'm a student. I could have been a student that was coming up to you. And then I sat there, and we got this one on film, and it will be in the documentary. Shout out to Untapped. And so, Untapped is about rising Black tech stars and the experiences that we face so that y'all can see this stuff firsthand. And so I watched as they talked to several other people that wasn't from the same background as me and spent a lot of time with them. But I go up and you just hand me a flyer and dismiss me. And so it's on so many levels, because then if we don't have that exposure to say that there's a Black woman named the next Steve Jobs, when a Black woman walks up as a student, you're not perceiving my image that I can perform. Did y'all follow that? Yeah. And oftentimes, if I was an Asian male that had walked up, because we would have had the advantage of the privilege, they would have just assumed, oh, you know how to code, you can build me something right now. They just assume it. But we get the exact opposite assumptions. And they're just not factual. So students, I hope you receive my message. And those of you in the audience, I hope you all become Trojan horses, because you all have the opportunity to be able to leverage your advantage to help another community. I actually also invented an algorithm for the stock market in college. I won Goldman Sachs Portfolio Challenge in college. And I could easily make billions every day if I wanted to, off the stock market. But that to me would be boring. I would much rather have a challenge of changing the minds of the world, yes, and being able to influence the world and reducing poverty and reducing bias and helping people to see that you don't gotta take the easy route out. Ladies, you don't gotta do certain things. You can be who you are. You can be cool and smart. You can be pretty and smart. You can do all of those things. You can be Black and smart, okay? Yourself. I spoke to a young lady earlier. She said she liked working with kids. I said, own some child development centers. You don't go work at a daycare. You own child development centers. You got a whole life ahead of you. I'm gonna pause there. Watch the TED Talk. Follow me on Instagram, AngelRich27, as well as at Wealthy Lifers and at Black Tech Matters. Follow the hashtag at Black Tech Matters. Definitely buy the book on Amazon, History of the Black Dollar. And like I said, watch the TED Talk and Breakfast Club. And shout out to my team, Team Wealthy Life. Thank y'all. And thank you, F.A.M.E, for having me.